Typically, game designers are trying to maintain a harmonious relationship with their fans. Development studios mostly bend over backward to ensure their fans are having a brilliant time, sometimes working for years to fix games that disappointed players on release. Like No Man's Sky's recent Omega update, which added 24 new biscuit recipes to the game. It's been 8 years, Hello Games. You can stop now. There is another breed of designer though, one self-assured enough to purposefully troll the fan base, poking fun at the consumers of their games with, you have to assume, unbridled glee. These trolls can occur within the games themselves or outside of them, but either way, they're moments when developers delight in winding up consumers. Buckle up for these 7 times game designers trolled us hard, and beware mild spoilers for the following games.
Victory is mine! You win!
Spare a thought for Mega Man fans circa 2012. And not just because Mega Man fans is a more endangered species than the Galapagos turtle. Picture the scene. It had been 2 years since Mega Man 10, and in 2011 fans of Capcom's mascot had just had a double whammy of disappointment when both Mega Man Universe and Mega Man Legends 3 were cancelled. And the worst part? 2012 in particular was the 25th anniversary of the very first Mega Man game, but Capcom appeared to have nothing planned. And unlike forgetting a regular anniversary, you can't just make it better by picking up a bouquet of gas station flowers on your way home. In January of 2012 though, it was revealed that Mega Man was going to get an outing as a bonus character in the PlayStation 3 and PS Vita editions of crossover fighting game Street Fighter X Tekken.
This is my destiny!
The thing is, it wasn't regular Mega Man, who we all know and love, but instead a character based on so-called bad box art Mega Man, the character depicted on the cover of the original North American release of the game. Weird that looks like AI art 30 years before AI art was a thing. Back then it probably stood for awful, irredeemable art. Mega Man developer Keiji Inafune and Street Fighter producer Yoshinori Ono didn't just stop at adding this bizarre bastardized Mega Man to the game. They decided to age him 25 years to mark how long it had been since the artwork first appeared. The result was one of the most accurate depictions of a dad bod in video game history.
I don't understand!
Worse still, it turns out that the original plan was to have a traditional Mega Man in the game, but Inafune dismissed it as an idea that had been done before. Naturally, the poor Mega Man fans were incensed, because rather than a return of their beloved Blue Bomber, they had a joke character that a lot of them felt was a direct troll to a loyal, embattled fanbase.
Who's there? Ah!
By comparison, check out the glow-up that this old-school Mega Man character Roll got in the process of being adapted for Street Fighter X Tekken.
One day, Mega Man learned about the meteorite that landed in the Antarctic from his good friend and companion, Roll.
They did you dirty, Mega Man. They did you dirty.
Veterans of the OG Tomb Raider games will know that back in the day there was nothing more alluring than a chunky brown backpack known as the Large Medipack. Wah. With the power to fully restore Lara's health, these scarce and highly sought after items were found dotted around Tomb Raider's ancient ruins, perhaps left behind by the ancient civilization that invented first aid kits, or a gunless Egyptologist who got eaten by a tomb-dwelling horror. They won't be needing this anymore. It is a powerful troll move, therefore, to put a precious Medipack somewhere totally inaccessible by normal means, where it sits tantalizingly out of Lara's reach, unable to treat her various cuts, bruises, and wild animal bites. This is precisely what the japesters behind Tomb Raider 1 did when they placed an unreachable Medipack high atop this structure in Palace Midas, so honest players could drive themselves crazy trying to figure out a way to get up there. Okay, I'm giving up. After 200 or 300 more goes. Turns out there is one way to get up there, which is to exploit a bug that glitchily teleports you on top of the structure, achieved by precisely angling Lara like so, then jumping her up and down like she's trying to see over a tall fence. It would be even more of a troll if you placed that unreachable medipack at the top of a fake, non-working ladder that's just painted onto the wall. Which is why in Tomb Raider 2, they put the unreachable medipack at the top of a fake, non-working ladder that's just painted onto the wall. This was apparently such a dick move that in the Tomb Raider Remastered trilogy they thought better of it and turned the fake ladder into the real, actually climbable ladder we see here. Like, wow, today's gamers are too soft, I guess. What with their working ladders. It would be even more of a troll if you placed the unreachable medipack in a hut on top of deadly inescapable quicksand. Which is why in Tomb Raider 3 they put the unreachable medipack in a hut on top of deadly inescapable quicksand. That, unless you're messing with cheat codes, remains inescapable to this day. Even a large medipack's not going to sort that out.
People take Final Fantasy VII very seriously. That's why in 2021 alone there were 81 newborn babies called Aerith. Very few called Red 13 though. The point is, Final Fantasy VII is a hugely beloved and influential RPG, even decades after the original game came out, and in recent years fans have been treated to 2 parts of a high-budget, graphically stunning reimagining of this classic story.
I'm really glad to have you back, Cloud. Really glad.
There's probably more polygons in one of Cloud's eyelashes there than there were in this entire guy back in 1997. Of course, that remake wasn't always on the cards though. If you cast your mind back 10 years to 2014, Final Fantasy VII had been out for 17 years and remained by far the most well-known and cherished installment in the series. There had been rumblings that there might be a remake of the game as far back as 2006, but never any concrete information. Instead, what we'd had was a PS3 tech demo, CGI feature film Advent Children, mobile prequel game Crisis Core for the PSP, and thousands of words of presumably increasingly tortured fanfiction. Then at the PlayStation Experience in December 2014, it looked like it was all about to change. Nearly 2 hours into the presentation as the show approached its finale, Square Enix's Shinji Hashimoto took to the stage, the Final Fantasy VII logo was displayed on the screen, and, well, just listen to the reaction.
17 long years ago.
This was it, finally a remake of this universally adored, culturally significant RPG. All the Final Fantasy fans' prayers were at last being answered. And then it was revealed that actually this was just a reissue of the original game, broadly untouched on PlayStation 4. Predictably, the reaction after the trailer was considerably more muted.
I'm happy to announce
This lady right here is all of us. This bait and switch would be expert trolling at the best of times, but it's even more exquisite when you consider that just 6 months later, Square Enix revealed at E3 2015 that there was going to be a Final Fantasy VII remake built in a modern game engine for modern consoles, to an even more rapturous reception.
A little bit of excitement.
They don't know it's going to be split into 2 parts yet. Let them have this.
This is the story of a man named Stanley. Stanley worked for a company in a big building where he was employee number 427. Employee number 427's job was simple. He sat at his desk in room 427 and he pushed buttons on a keyboard. Orders came to him through a monitor on his desk, telling him what buttons to push, how long to push them, and in what order.
The Stanley Parable is as much a meditation on freedom and authority as it is a video game. But unlike other meditations on freedom and authority, this one has achievements, so it's better. Well, I'd say it's better, but some of these achievements are betterer than others, if you're an achievement-hungry completionist who cannot rest until you've squeezed every last Chivo out of a given video game. Because although some of the achievements in the Stanley Parable are sarcastically, trivially easy to the point where it would be harder to avoid unlocking them, like the one you get for trying to jump, there is a certain mysterious achievement called Unachievable, whose description reads, "It is impossible to get this achievement." Sure, impossible, like the burger, which I ate easily by the way. In fact, following the launch of the Stanley Parable, it turned out the unachievable achievement wasn't literally impossible, but it was a weapons-grade troll. See, a few players found the unachievable achievement did actually pop for them, but no one could figure out why or how to reliably replicate that success. Online forums were awash with theories like go to desk 435 and click on the computer, which might work, but probably wouldn't. It turns out that whenever a solution to the unachievable achievement was uncovered, a diabolical Stanley Parable developer going by the username GranPC would secretly update the requirements for the achievement so that that method would stop working. Even now, the definitive way to unlock this 10G troll achievement hasn't been pinned down, short of editing the config file on your PC and messing with key bindings. Which, as befits a game like the Stanley Parable, makes the unachievable achievement a kind of fiendish meta-commentary on, trolling achievement hunters, I guess.
They challenge the dragons. Gwyn's mighty bolts peeled apart their stone scales. The witches weaved great firestorms. Nito unleashed a miasma of death and disease.
Mystery is a big part of the Dark Souls series, not least the biggest mystery of all, why I can't stop playing it even though I suck so bad. Dark Souls is extremely economical with the information that it drip feeds to the player. Part of the point of the game is that you feel confused and alone in a scary world. Not alone enough, if you ask me. Over the lifetime of the game, it's become basically a collaborative community project uncovering the secrets hidden in Dark Souls, with fans detailing their findings in YouTube videos, fan wikis, and by leaving in-game messages of various levels of helpfulness. Son of a... There was one item that had the entire community stumped, and that was the pendant. Offered up as an option for your one starting gift when you create a new character, the pendant was vying for a place in your inventory against things like the Master Key, which unlocked various useful doors, or a handful of firebombs, which do this. Very tempting indeed. The description of the pendant says that it has no effect, but that didn't stop Dark Souls fans disappearing down a conspiracy theory rabbit hole that this pendant must actually do something. It didn't help that game director Hidetaka Miyazaki himself said in an interview with Famitsu that his personal choice of starting item would be the pendant or nothing at all, which sent the fanbase into a frenzy trying to discover its hidden power. But it wouldn't be Dark Souls if there wasn't a painful, unpleasant twist in the tale. During an interview to promote the Artorias of the Abyss DLC around a year after release, Miyazaki revealed that his comments were what he described as a little prank on the fanbase, and that in reality this pendant did, as the item description suggests, absolutely nothing. So congratulations Miyazaki on the biggest troll in a game full of very big trolls. Alright, that's an infested barbarian, but I know a troll when I see one. Unlike the Dark Souls community, apparently.
Who are you? What do you want?
You were careless. You left a trail. Now he's on to you.
What are you talking about? Who's on to me?
The hunter demon.
If there's one thing that fans love, it's when you change a single thing about the appearance of their favourite character. Wait, did I say love? I meant the other thing. Hate, with a burning passion. So it went when Ninja Theory took on the Devil May Cry reboot, unveiling the sassy, white-haired Devil Hunter reimagined as a skinny emo kid with a bad attitude and, whisper it, short, dark hair.
Missed.
And Dante diehards took that personally. Not since Ginger Chris Redfield in the live-action bit of Resident Evil was rendered brunette and square in the game proper has there been a greater crime against video game hair. And that's to say nothing of the erasure of Devil May Cry 3 Dante's micro-tube top, for when you want full nipple coverage but maximum ab exposure. Ninja Theory founder Tamim Antoniades denied Dante's new do was designed to resemble his own, which, okay, but if you were trying to provoke Dante hair truthers, you couldn't do much better than what the game did go on to do. In an early cutscene where things are kicking off in and around Dante's trailer home, a white mop head flumps onto Dante's head, briefly resembling the hair of original Dante, and then...
Not in a million years.
a saucy troll, if ever I saw one. And yet, not in a million years became actually in 10 hours, when by the end of the game, intensive use of the devil trigger power that temporarily turns Dante's hair white finally results in a permanent supernatural bleaching of Dante's controversial barnet back to its old colour. But no micro-tube top. For shame.
In the constantly shifting landscape of video games, there are very few certainties, but one of those certainties is this: you do not mess with Harada. Katsuhiro Harada is the long-standing director of the Tekken fighting game series, hugely respected for turning Tekken into one of the biggest franchises in the world of fighting games. He's also a man who refuses to take any nonsense on Twitter, like on this occasion where he thoroughly dressed down someone who complained about new characters being added to the series. I would call the police to report that murder, but I'm too frightened of Harada. That's not to say Harada doesn't have a sense of humour, something that became clear in late 2014 when Namco released a trailer for a brand new Tekken 7 character, a J-pop idol-inspired fighter called Lucky Chloe.
Hi! Lucky Chloe da yo.
A subset of players grumbled that it was unrealistic to see a bunch of ripped martial artists getting kicked unconscious by a slight girl in cat cosplay, seemingly forgetting that this was a fighting game that featured a f***ing panda.
KO.
Pandas can't even be bothered to procreate. There's no way one's going 3 rounds with Eddie Gordo. Harada's no-nonsense approach to fan feedback was in full effect when he announced that in response to Western fans' complaints, Lucky Chloe would be removed from the US version of the game, becoming an Asian and European exclusive. Instead, in the US, she would be replaced with a muscular skinhead. This was then breathlessly reported as fact by several gaming news outlets, and there was a substantial amount of bickering among the fanbase between players who wanted her removed and players who were pissed that what appeared to be a fully completed character was being denied from them in their version of the game.
You win! See you next time! Bye!
Nice of her to say goodbye, I guess. It became clear that Harada was just winding up the Tekken fans when a fellow designer, this time at Namco Europe, tweeted to confirm that this was, in fact, just trolling by Harada. So yes, Lucky Chloe did in fact make her way into the US version of the game, bringing with her a sunny disposition, cute cat ears, and extremely demanding standards when it comes to backing dancers. First getting beaten by a creature that spends 16 hours a day eating, and now this. How embarrassing.
Thank you for joining us for this video by Outside Xbox. Those were 7 ultimate troll moves by game designers who trolled us super hard. If you would like to watch another video by Outside Xbox, could I interest you in this one, which is one of my personal favourites? Or perhaps a video from our sister channel Outside Extra, and this is my very favourite video. I'll go and find my very favourite video and I'll link it here so you'll know which is my favourite thing that they've ever made. My favourite thing. No, my favourite thing from Outside Extra, which also happens to be my favourite thing in the world.
If it's a cat playing a piano video, I'm gonna be happy.
You'll only know if you click.